I'm Taylor. This is my bike. She needs work, but just on here making random videos, and let's see how it works out. Want to join me in my random misadventures? Stay tuned. I know I haven't been making much videos lately. Well, I've made a few, but haven't gotten posted. But just had a lot on my mind, a lot of work stuff I've been doing. But this video, again, for one person. Because I keep having these perpetual dreams, and I don't necessarily believe in coincidences, because I just don't. That's life. Things happen for a reason. Well, I keep having a dream that my daughter gets in a huge fight with her mom, and my daughter was 100% in the wrong, and she comes to me, telling me everything that's been going on, and she wants to come stay with me, and I become the bad guy, and how to tell her no, because I'm not having my daughter grow up the way her mother did, just bouncing around from mom's and dad's and her grandmother's house, because she doesn't like what's going on at whatever place she's at. This is my knowledge is coming from her stepmom, who told me that that's what she did. She'd get in trouble and then go bounce back to the other parent's house because the other parent let her do whatever she wanted. Well, that's not going to happen with my daughter. And she gets older and decides she wants to come stay with me. That's fine. But it's not going to be because of her getting in trouble or an argument. That's just not how that works. I'm not going to be playing those games with her. If she wants to stay with me, I'd be more than happy to have her. But she's not going to be, a spoiled little shit because she thinks that she can just go to the other parent and get whatever she wants. Like, I'll give my daughter the world, but not that. And as of right now, I know that's going to happen. Our daughter doesn't know that me and mom talked about, quite a lot about how we were wanting to raise our daughter. And on the majority of things, we agreed. And when things started going south, I told my daughter's mom that, if you take off, she's not going to have both parents. And it's not my fault. I would love to be able to communicate with my daughter's mom and work things out. Maybe not in a romantic way, because I don't know if I could be with her in a romantic way anymore. Like, I love her, don't get me wrong, I do. But there's still a lot of hurt feelings there in both directions. I'm not too happy with some of the shit she was pulling. She's not happy with me, so it's just, I don't ever see us together again. And that's fine, that's what it is. Like, I do miss her, but most of the stuff that I miss wasn't relationship stuff. It was us just being friends, because she was my best friend. And now she hates me. Hell, I I've talked to people. She doesn't realize that I know some people that she knows. And, they ask me questions, talk to me about, different things. And then there was a whole court case that got blown out of proportion and not taken with what it actually was. But, that's besides the point. But when she saw the news article saying that I allegedly was pretending to be her to hire a hitman, she told her friend that she wishes that she would have killed me herself. I don't know how true that is, because I have no idea, because I wasn't there, and I don't think she would say something like that, but who knows with how hurt she was about the situation. But that isn't what happened. And honestly, it really doesn't matter what happened. It's happened, it's done. That was years ago. And I still haven't been able to heal from that. To this day, the day that she took off is a reoccurring nightmare. And I wish there was something I could do to make that right. Because, just because you've lost me as a partner doesn't mean you've lost me as a friend. And even if that's never going to happen, I still want you to be happy. I still want you to eat. Just not at my table. Because, especially with the new religious stuff that I've gone into, I've gotten really into the Norse pagan religions because what's the word I'm looking for? It just makes more sense to me. I bond with the ideals of the Norse religion more than I do any Judaic religion that I've ever studied. And I have studied, a few different religions because I wasn't happy or getting what I needed from the religion I was in growing up. So I started looking into others. And I definitely recommend everybody, take the time and look at different religions, not just the ones you grew up with. Because not a single religion has all the answers. And anyone that says they have all the answers is full of shit. What I really enjoy about the Norse pagan religion is it's not a purely faith-based thing. Like, it's definitely is faith-based, but you can make your own personal pact with whichever gods that you feel comfortable making a pact with. And if, it's a give and take. You don't just give just because. Like, you can. That's, offering stuff is always a good thing. Nobody's going to tell you otherwise. But let's say, you make a pact with Odin. And you want knowledge. And if that knowledge doesn't come to you in the form of, something coming to you and you learn something, or, just opportunities to gain knowledge or clarity in situations where you have, the wisdom to make a educated decision, then Odin's not holding up his side of the deal. So you owe nothing to these gods. I personally haven't made a particular pact with any god because I'm, definitely still doing my research. Because you don't want to go into something blindly. You don't ever go into anything blindly, for one. But especially with a deity you don't quite understand. Because these gods aren't like, a Judaic god where, it's omnipotent, can control whatever, doing whatever. Each god doesn't even have a specific, god of something, which is a very popular misconception. Like, Thor is not the god of war or, the god of parties or whatever. His personality entails those things, but it doesn't mean he is the god of that thing. Just like Loki isn't, the god of tricks and mischief and, different things. Yes, his personality vibes with that, but that's not what he is. And where we don't have any real concrete foundation of exactly what these gods do or know or anything, it's generally up to interpretation and how you feel about it. Like, personally, my patron gods are Odin and Thor, which is, two real big ones that people go after, and Fenrir, because that's who their personalities that I vibe with the most. I definitely cherish knowledge and wisdom. I definitely cherish the, fighting for what you believe in, fighting for the weak and, celebrating when celebrations are accepted. Because not every situation needs celebrating. But I'm definitely one that, I like to party. I like to go have fun. A lot of people do. Granted, I do it differently than most people, but I enjoy my time. And my time with that isn't taken lightly. I don't take my time lightly on just about anything, because, that's just life. If you don't cherish your time doing things you love, then you're not going to be happy. Granted, I'm not necessarily the happiest person right now for personal reasons. And a lot of it, actually most of it, 99% of it, is my own doing. Like going back to the whole situation with my daughter's mom. I know, in my soul that she did once care about me. Like, we wouldn't have spent the time together that we did if she, didn't care about me. And I will always cherish those memories because they made me who I am now. And I will always have those memories to look back and, puts a smile on my face. Because, yes, I do have very fond feelings for my daughter's mom. Because she brought me out of a place that was a very dark place in my life. And, helped me build a life. granted, when she left, she took the foundation of that life with her, but that's not her fault. That's on me. Because I didn't look at that and go, hey, this is a situation that, I can, better myself on. I looked at as, oh, she's the one, that saved me. And she did. Like, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be alive to this day. But I built who I was around that person. And some of the blocks I was building with was negative things and traumatic things in my life that had happened, or things that, I had seen my parents doing. And, from a child's perspective, I thought my parents had the perfect relationship. Because, I rarely, if ever, saw my parents fight. Because they did all of, their personal relationship stuff behind closed doors. And rightfully so. There's no need to really, go and talk shit about this person you're with. Because if there's a problem in the relationship, it's not every Tom, Dick, and Harry's business about what's going on in your relationship. And yeah, I didn't always do the best things. Towards the end, I was horrible to her. I was never physically abusive, but I did play a lot of mind games. And I didn't realize what I was doing until it was too late. I didn't even realize exactly what I was doing until it was pointed out to me that these things were wrong. I was treating her as a helicopter parent would treat their child. I had to be involved in everything. I had to know what was going on. And if I didn't like it, I did my damnedest to control the situation. And that was not okay. And that actually was some of the big things that destroyed my relationship with her. And I don't necessarily have anybody to blame but myself. Yes, I am the one that did that. But, in the same breath I thought that was normal. That's what my parents did. I know I'd seen my dad do some of these things. And, even, my parents are doing a lot better now. But even to this day, I see my dad going through my mom's phone and, being a little aggravated on some of the things he finds on there. And it's not like my mom's out cheating on my dad. That's not what's going on. It's, she mentions something to somebody and my dad doesn't appreciate it. Or, to this day, my mom, without my dad, would not know what to even do with life. Because he's taking care of everything. And not just taking care of it, but, basically told my mom what she's doing at any given point. Hell, I've seen my mom wake up and panic because she forgot to plug her phone in and then it was dead. So she was not able to call my dad or text my dad when she got up. Or, making sure she has whatever means to communicate with my dad before she does anything. I've seen my mom be late for work so she could let her phone charge a little more before she headed out. Like, this is the kind of shit I was doing that just wasn't okay. Sorry, I had go get a Mountain Dew. Well, I didn't have to. I running low on smokes and decided to go grab some and grab me a Mountain Dew when I was out. Because why not? I've got nothing better to do. Obviously, I'm making fucking videos that I don't even think anybody's watching. Just because it's been a pretty decent way for me to cope and get my thoughts straightened out. Like, it's been beneficial for me as an individual. You know, whether anybody wants to see it or not, I don't really care. But back to the whole thing I was going at was, you know, the whole me having these perpetual dreams. And, well, actually, let's go back to the whole, you know, thing with my parents. Like, I know I messed up by basing my relationship and what I do in said relationship off of things, you know, my parents did. I understand now that it was not okay. And, you know, I'm definitely sorry for that. Especially because of, you know, things that happened a little later on. Like, I ended up being in jail for 5-6 months, something like that. I don't exactly remember the time frame. Because, you know, it was a lot for me at the time. Like, I am fully aware a lot of other people have done a lot more time in jail than I have in a single stay. And before my 6-month jaunt in jail, my high score of being in jail was, I want to say, 13 days. The shortest time I've been in jail was a few hours. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I spent about 6 months in jail, having to endure some of the same things that I was putting my daughter's mom through. They, you know, controlling me on, you know, who I talk to. Because if the jail workers decided they didn't want me talking with, you know, Henry over here, I don't know what Henry, but Henry over here, then they would separate us to where I couldn't talk to him, period. My letters were read through, and I had some given back to me saying that they wouldn't be sent because of, you know, the contents of said letter. Like, I learned that you can't really say what actually happens in the jail when you're in jail, because the jail personnel will punish you for it. Like, I tried talking about, you know, my experiences in jail, you know, good and bad, and found out that the jail people don't, you know, they go through your mail, not just to make sure, well, I guess they go through it to make sure that you're not putting information out there that they don't want. It's a total invasion of privacy. Like, you know, besides the whole fact that they literally watch you use the bathroom, which is also a invasion of privacy. Like, where I was in jail, it was a dorm. So, you know, we had, you know, a bunch of guys in there. You know, it wasn't just me in a, you know, little concrete room. It was, you know, several people. And they had a little, like we called it the pony wall. I don't know what it's called. But it was literally a, like, 3-4 foot concrete wall. So that way, you know, when you were sitting on the john, you were, you know, you could see over the top of it easily. Like, you could still see, like, mid-chest up while you were sitting on the toilet. And, you know, it was just a wall that kind of blocked it off from the rest of the room. But you could still see, you know, because the walls, or the wall going out into the main, you know, area for that space was glass. Well, it was some sort of see-through material, whatever it was, I don't know, don't care. And, you know, sometimes you'd be sitting on the john, and one of the personnel would be, you know, doing his rounds, make sure, you know, everything's okay, you know, on par, doing what you need to do, right? And, you know, you would make eye contact with this person. Most of them would just, you know, walk away, you know, just, it's whatever, do your business, and, you know, go about your day. But on several occasions I had, you know, these adults, like older adults, like I'm gonna say 50-ish age, that you'd be sitting on the john, and I had one of them, you know, this was the most memorable, you know, thing that happened, was I'm on the toilet doing my business, and one of the officers doing his rounds stops, looks at me, and strikes up a conversation. It's like, what are you doing, Bedoya? I'm like, I'm using the bathroom. Like, I don't want to talk to you while I'm using the bathroom. But you know, you can't really say that to them, because if they take it as, you know, you being aggressive, then you get in trouble, because they don't appreciate that, apparently. And it wasn't like, you know, I saw people get in trouble for the stupidest things. I saw somebody get taken, you know, to the hole, which is solitary confinement, because this guy, you know, had asked for some paper from the guard and was given the paper. Shouldn't be a problem there, right? I don't see a problem. Got in trouble because he was making comics and handing them out. You know, giving them to people is like, you know, hey, here's a little short, you know, funny thing that I thought, you know, that I made, that, you know, let's try to lighten the mood, you know, because we're all stuck in this place. It's shitty. Well, let's do our best to make it as least shitty as possible. And they got in trouble for that. Hell, I've seen people that wrote a letter saying that, you know, they were having some, you know, morale issues because, you know, they'd been in jail for so long and, you know, weren't doing too great mentally speaking, which is perfect. Like, it's perfectly okay to say, like, hey, right now I am not doing okay and I am struggling. I would appreciate the moral support in trying to get through this situation. There's nothing wrong with that. But I've seen people get taken to the suicide watch area. That is a... how do I put this nicely? It is living hell. Because they literally take everything. Everything. You go into this situation with not even the clothes on your back. They take away your clothes. Your, you know, your shirt, your pants. Hell, you don't even get to have underwear in this situation. They take all that away. And they give you this robe looking thing that is made of nylon and Teflon and, you know, stuff like that, to where it is the most uncomfortable thing on this planet. if you ever want, if you want to know what it looks like, at least just Google jail suicide watch outfit, and you'll see it's the most ridiculous thing ever. And you don't get a bed. They give you this canoe looking thing that's made of a hard plastic that I want to say the brand that was engraved on it was Stack-A-Bunk, but it's literally just a hard plastic, like, trapezoid long thing that just keeps you up off the concrete, and that's it. They give you meals in a styrofoam container, like a restaurant's to-go box, and they give you this little cutout thing that's paper, like a cardstock like material, and you have to fold it into this half-assed spoon looking thing just so you can eat your meals relatively like a person. It's the most dehumanizing thing I have ever experienced. I spent my first 2 weeks. No, it was longer. It was 3 weeks. My first 3 weeks in jail under these conditions. They gave you half an hour a day, if you were lucky, to get out of that concrete box that was actually located in the same area as the sexual predators. So not only are you dehumanized, but they're literally putting on a show for these sex offenders. And it's literally the most dehumanizing thing I've ever experienced. Being in jail was one of the worst experiences of my life. And I know that Utah County Jail isn't a bad jail. Like, from talking with some of the other guys that have been passing through when I was in jail, it's actually one of the more easygoing jails to where you don't get much grief as long as you just do what you're told. And for the most part, I did what I was told. I spent a lot of time reading because I was actually lucky enough to have my family members send me some books. And my mom sent me some colored pencils and a coloring book for Christmas that year. I don't remember if I got it before Christmas or after, but I still have that coloring book to this day. And I don't know what I would have done without that thing, because when you spend 23 hours locked in a box with literally nothing to do, you learn to appreciate the little things. That coloring book and those colored pencils were a godsend for me. I'm not the most, I'm not an artist by any means. But being able to sit down and draw and color just to, spend 10 minutes to forget about the shitty situation that I was in and
it at least showed me that my parents didn't completely write me off. Because when you're in jail, and jail phone calls aren't cheap, and unless it was a weekend, I couldn't call my family because, you know, they had a life going on outside of my situation in jail. You know, not only are those calls, you know, not cheap, but I can only imagine how heartbreaking it is to get a phone call that you have to pay probably $30 for just a 10-minute phone call with your son that has made some really poor choices, and you don't know when you're going to be able to see them, or if you're going to get to see them again. Like, my grandma, you know, bless her soul, I absolutely adore my grandma for what she did when I was in jail. She took the time out of her day to come and visit me when I was in jail. Because, at least at that time, if you physically came to the jail to visit somebody, then that visit was free. You got one free visit a week. At least that's my understanding. I don't know if that's true even. So, you know, she would come and talk to me and just, you know, ask how I was doing, and, you know, she would tell me that, you know, she cared about me, and she would tell me that, you know, she's gonna be there for when I get out of jail, and that, you know, she was going to the court cases, to the court dates, just so, you know, walking up to the judge and then walking back, I would be able to see somebody that cared about me, and that I wasn't going through this alone. It was so hard to do. Like, and I met some, you know, pretty decent people while I was in jail. You know, I kind of broke the rules every so often to, you know, do things for people, or, you know, just try to make life in jail a little bit brighter, because a lot of people in there, you know, myself included, you know, we didn't want to be in jail, but because of our choices, we didn't have a choice. It was consequences for our actions. And I'm not saying that my actions were right. I'm just saying that I dealt and am dealing with the consequences of my actions. And it is some of the hardest, you know, times in my life. And as soon as I'm not in jail anymore, I lost the people that you know, told me they cared about me. Like, when I was in jail, I really appreciated it. It meant a lot to me, and it still does. But now, these people don't talk to me, don't call me, don't nothing. I am so alone right now. It is soul destroying. Like, I don't know if whoever's watching this understands that the same chemical is released in the brain when somebody you care about ignores you than being physically struck. So every time I'm ignored by my friends, my family, anybody that I, actually care about, it makes me feel like I am putting my love, trust, and faith into somebody, and they're taking it for granted. They don't care. And most people don't care about me. And that's just cut and dry how it is, and it's mostly my fault. But, what I was getting at with this whole thing was, I get how I made my daughter's mom feel. And I wish it wouldn't have taken me going to jail, and going through that, to understand what I was doing to her. Like, I am so sorry for that. Because it's dehumanizing. It makes you feel like you're not even worth, somebody's, I wouldn't say appreciation, you're not even worth somebody's anything, I guess. It makes you feel like you're not even a person. That you being there isn't because they want you there. It's because it makes you feel like you're just a piece in a game. And that's the thing. Life is not a game. And for somebody to treat somebody like that it's horrible. And I hate myself for making anybody feel that way, because it's just horrible. And I'll never get a chance to apologize for that. To say, hey, I get it. I didn't mean to make you feel this way. But I am so sorry that it happened. I am so sorry that my actions caused you to feel like this. Because it's horrid. I don't even have the words to explain how I feel about myself for doing that. It's just, I wish I would have realized sooner how my actions were truly affecting somebody. And that's another reason why I'm making these, just because if you're a person that's taking advantage of somebody like that, it's not okay. And I'll be completely honest. I'm not, a saint here. I did these things that I truly regret. And it took a lot of time and experiences and therapists and, just to be able to get to the point where I understand. And I will never do something like that again, just because of how that situation made me feel. I never want anybody to feel that way. Again, I'm not a saint. I've made some horrible decisions in my life. And I've hurt a lot of people doing this. But I am not the same person I was.
And I have to live with that. I have to live knowing that I put somebody in a position where potentially, I don't know her thoughts on this. Maybe someday I will. But right now, as of, I want to say it's December 3rd, 2021, if she felt the way I did, going through the stuff when I was in jail, being treated, not exactly, but very similarly to how I was treated in jail, I never want anybody to go through that. And I will always have that piece of hate for myself because I did that. I did. God, I wish I didn't. I wish I could say that I was perfect. I wish I could say that I didn't make any mistakes and that the reason my relationship went south wasn't my fault. But it was. I did those things. And I have to live with that for the rest of my life. I have to live with the fact, knowing, well, not knowing, but speculating that the way I was treating her put her in the mindset of maybe I'd be better off just taking my own life. And knowing that those thoughts and feelings were put there by me it destroys me as a person, and rightfully so. I'm not saying it's made me, completely, despise myself. Like, I do, but that's besides the point. I despise the person I was. The person that didn't give a shit and just wanted what I wanted and disregarded another person's thoughts and feelings. I will never get over that. It's probably the most motivating factor in my life because the moment I don't care about what I did is the moment I start becoming that person again. And I don't want to be that person. I have fought myself to not let myself be that kind of person. So now that that's out there, back to the reoccurring dreams that I've been having. I've been having a recurring dream that my daughter, mid-late teens, horrible with guessing ages, but my daughter, she takes off from home and she comes to me and says, hey, I want to come stay with you because here's the situation. And I have to be the bad guy and tell her, no, let's take you home, because that is not an appropriate reason for you to take off from home. Once you and mom get everything hashed out, then we can discuss, the three of us, whether it's appropriate for you to come stay with me or not. So I take her home. And then I get a phone call the next morning that my daughter's taken her own life because she felt like I didn't care about her. Because she felt like I didn't care about what she was going through and forced her to go back and be in that situation she didn't want to be in. because I don't want my daughter to grow up thinking that, oh, she's not getting along with her mom because, she's being a shit, that she can just, take off with dad, and then when she gets in trouble with me, she goes back to mom. I'm not going to do this cycle of nonsense, because that's all it would be. And that's how you raise a very mentally manipulative child. Because at that point, us as the parents are going to let her do pretty much whatever she wants, because we'd be afraid that she's just going to go, she's going to take off to the other parent. And we're going to do whatever is in our power to try to keep her happy with us. And I know the day's coming that it's going to be like that. I already know. Because now, my daughter's almost 4. She's going to be 4 in 20 days, actually. Wow, she's getting old. I'm getting old. Fuck. But I don't know how to have this conversation with my daughter right now. Because she's 4. She's not going to understand the semantics of what happened. She shouldn't have to deal with it. But I've had my, currently 3-year-old daughter tell me that she wants me to go to her house and meet mom. And when I tell her, no, we can't do that. Like, grandma will take you back home, and, then you can go talk to mom. She tells me, but I want you to meet mom. She's really nice. And I love her. And you'll like mom. She's nice. How do I explain to a young child that doesn't have any conscious memories of her parents even, talking to each other or seeing each other or anything? I asked my daughter what she wanted for her birthday. And, she told me 2 things. The first thing she wanted was a white cake. I don't really know what that means or what kind of cake she wants, but, it doesn't matter. She wants a white cake. We can do that. Wait, that's not a problem. We can figure a white cake out. The other thing she asked me is, can you come to my birthday party? And I'm like, well, we're going to have a birthday party over here at grandma's with you. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'll be there. And she's like, no, Dad. I want you to come to my birthday party. And me interpreting that as, mom does a birthday with her as well. But that's, the party with mom is, she's got cousins and family, that are about her age that, go over there. And they have a whole big thing. And, I don't really have a lot of people in my life to have a big party with her. So with me, a birthday party is just, we make some food, we have a cake, we sing, we blow candles, she opens some presents, and then we play with whatever she's got. Which, I thought was fine. Because I don't have friends, really. Nobody that I could, truly consider a friend. Because most of the people that I've had around in my life up till now are currently involved in things that I don't want to be involved in. So I've cut 99% of people out of my life because they're still doing, parties and drugs and, criminal stuff that I don't need to be a part of. for, one, my own mental health, and two, I don't want to get caught up in it. So, I've told them all, like, hey, as long as you're doing this stuff, I can't be a part of it. Because I'm not going to risk myself and my daughter and her happiness for, us to go hang out, do whatever, get in trouble, and then me go back to jail. I'm not going back to jail. I refuse. I would rather take my own life than go back to jail. I will not go. Period. End of story. I will not go. So, I don't have a way to have a big party with my daughter. And she asks me, will you come to my party? And I have to look at this little girl in the eyes and tell her no. I won't be able to go to her birthday party. I'm sorry. Because of the hurt feelings that are still there. So, not only have my poor decisions in life affected me and my relationships, they are now affecting my daughter and her relationships. My daughter is beginning to feel like I don't necessarily care about her. She knows I love her, but she's starting to think that I just want to see her to play with her and that's it, which is basically true. I do want to see my daughter and I want to build a relationship with my daughter, but that is really hard to do, especially at this age where a lot of her big interactions do involve her mother. And I'm not a part of mom's life in any way, shape, or form besides I am the father of her daughter. And I don't know what to do with that. I don't. So I'll make another video about some other thoughts that I have. But as of right now, I think this is where I'm going to leave it. And I'll hopefully get this posted tonight or tomorrow. So, yeah, if you want to know some more thoughts from me, stick around, I guess.